In with Charles D'Angelo, and boy, it is rapidly approaching.
Thanksgiving's next week.
Woo! Lots of food and lots of temptations.
Lots of decisions.
And lots of decisions. But you know, I think that when you're overweight and you don't feel good about yourself and a holiday comes up, you just have the tendency, or maybe even not even the tendency, but you just throw in the towel and say, you know what? Forget it. I'll deal with it next year.
It's very easy to avoid it and walk in and say, well, everyone eats what they want on Thanksgiving. In reality, that's not true. You have to walk into Thanksgiving and walk into any event throwing aside the preconceived ideas of, well, this is what everyone does. Because the fact is, a person that's thin, a person that's healthy, walks into that with a plan, or at least is so conditioned by their habits that they don't have to give so much thought to it, but they really load up on the right foods. They're not eating all the rich, unhealthy, fried, or highly processed foods at those events.
Yeah, when you're in control, you really have a tendency, now once again I'm saying tendency, but you really do plan.
You're conditioned.
You plan. When you plan that, you know, hey, I probably will eat a lot more on Thanksgiving, so I'm going to exercise more, you know.
And you disturb the balance, I believe, when you do that, because then you're saying, well, I'm going to eat more and balance that out with exercising more. Well, then you're doing more of both, when in reality, why not just eat healthy? Make sure that you're planning ahead so that you're filling yourself up on the right types of foods, and then also do your regular exercise as well. That way you don't have that imbalance. But a lot of people approach it with saying, well, it's Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas, and then after Christmas is New Year, so I'll just put it off until after the first of the year. And we both know once the first of the year comes, a lot of people are kind of have that let down blue feeling because the holidays are over and they're getting back to work and everything, and they never really commit to that resolution they should have made way before Thanksgiving.
Now tell us how different your Thanksgivings are compared to when you weighed 364 pounds.
Well, put it this way, the pizza man knew my number by heart. It was
On
probably on the
Thanksgiving,
caller. So I was very, very unhealthy, and I would load up with a lot of the most unhealthy foods, a lot of stuffing, a lot of breads, a lot of sweets, a lot of pumpkin pie, things like that. Whereas a great way of filling yourself up is with like roasted vegetables. You can roast your broccoli or carrots. And carbohydrates are not a bad thing as long as you're making sure you're eating the right type. That is, stick with complex carbs. Sweet potatoes are fantastic. Even normal potatoes are fine. And if you're going to indulge in something that's not so healthy like pumpkin pie, of course pumpkin pie over pecan pie, don't eat the crust. Eat just the pumpkin out of the pie, and you can avoid a heck of a lot of the calories by just making those little clarifications. But I think the most important thing is to walk into it and think as a thin person thinks. That is, don't go in and say, I'm going to eat whatever I want or as much as I want, and don't draw out the whole meal all day.
Yeah, and the psychology behind it is interesting because for some reason, and because it's so special, it's not as if you'll never see that food again.
It's always going to be there. And for some people, they think it's like Girl Scout cookie season or something where they only come out once a year. When in reality, that food's always going to be there. So much of this has to do with the way you condition yourself to think about food, as you and I both know. When does your Thanksgiving officially start at the house? Do you start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So in 2 o'clock in the afternoon, up until then, have you already done your exercise, or what are you going to do?
Right,
I mean, just
that's what I will
what
do. I will do my exercise, and I'll have the dinner at my house early so that I can get it over with and start, you know, do a walk or do something after dinner. And, you know, I guess I'm at the point now where I really think about how I feel when I don't eat well.
Excellent.
And that's where you need to get, because when you have a lot of sugar, a lot of carb, you don't feel good.
A lot of processed foods just make you so tired. So many people believe it's the tryptophan in the turkey, when in reality it has more to do with the amount of portion that a person eats. They overfill their system, and a lot of it has to do with the proteins they eat, and there's more in your bloodstream, so you get sleepy. But the idea is to keep your portions low and to plan ahead.
All right, well, thanks.